When she cried, it's really more like she threw a tennis ball at wall and then went out for many hours and came back with a smile on her face and said that she had tracked down Chris Everett and threw a racket at her head and it made her feel all better.
Yeah, this whole Julia trying to, speaking of moral high ground, trying to have the moral, like, yes, of course I've talked to Martina about, you just talked to her 6 months ago about something that happened 4 years ago. Stop acting so high and mighty. So she's like, yeah, she cried. And why did she say it tonight? And she's like, because there's just so many misconceptions. I cannot speak my truth. This changes nothing. You were close with her way after that thing in the Hamptons happened. You turned on her this year when you became close with the other ladies. It doesn't change any of that. It doesn't matter that your hoo-haws twiddled.
I think it does, actually. But she's just losing her case because she's not presenting it properly. I think it changes because it's like, we know, like when friends have sex, like this is the basis of so many like rom-coms and stories or whatever, like, things get weird afterwards. Not always. Sometimes it's fine. But like it is something that happens. And like clearly things got weird. And they were close afterwards. But like, you know, something was there that was not addressed. And it was a lie that Julia had that she had not told Martina. Like it's going to eat away. And there's going to be problems. And eventually Julia's probably not going to want to have to face her guilt about what she did. So she's going to want to move away from Adriana and move towards the other women. Like it actually, to me, does shed some light on how it happened. The problem is that Julia is not really accepting her role in that. She's not really saying, she's not being accountable for like, every time I saw Adriana, it reminded me of how I betrayed Martina and it was hard for me. And so I sort of drifted away from her. And on top of that, she was also being really possessive of me, which was also unpleasant. Like that's all she really had to say. And I think so many people would have gotten it. But
I don't buy any
like you
of that,
said, she's
though.
doing it all. I think she's doing it all sanctimoniously here. And it's not right.
I don't buy anything. Like the way that you're saying it, I think makes a lot of sense, but I just don't believe it because it's Julia. And we see how Julia acts with everybody, how she's flirty, how she's constantly making. I think Adriana was doing this stuff on camera. She was basically fucking her up against the wall on camera. We just saw it in the clips. They were like kissing. They were doing this friend engagement. They were doing like the "you showed me what love is," that whole speech. They were doing this whole thing on camera. So I don't think that Adriana would have taken that as like an affair. I think she would have taken it as like, this chick is like, always, she's very sexual. She's very sexual with all of her friends and other people because obviously we find out later that Adriana knows a lot of other people that Julia has had sex with. So I think Adriana probably looked at it as like, this is somebody who's in kind of an open or a loose relationship. And I don't really think it's that big of a deal. I think if Adriana really thought, oh, I'm fucking over Martina Navratilova right now, she would have been a little more subtle about it and not just
100%.
Like, so out about it. So I think Julia probably fucked around with Adriana so she could hold it over Adriana's head and say shit like this, like, oh, Adriana's just crazy. She's so in love with me. You know, blah, blah, blah. Julia's the one entrapping everybody into these weird situations. And then now she's going to come back and make it like, oh, I'm the victim here and I was entrapped into this situation. No, you were the one like forwarding all of these situations. And I think that she's probably using something like that to look like a victim now. That's how I look at it.
I don't think
trust that chick
either of
as
them,
far as I can throw her.
Well, that's a whole separate issue. Which I agree with. I don't think either of them entrapped each other. And I agree. I think that Adriana probably thought that this was like sort of an open thing or whatever. It's like, oh, whatever. I just am saying that I think that I've lost my train of thought. It was something about how I don't think my issue was not about whether or not they were having an affair or like whether or not like Adriana's at fault because they like slept together. I think they were consenting adults. And I think the worse, I think Julia as someone being in a relationship where it was not open like that, like she is the one who had the infraction. But I'm just saying like, regardless of whatever the context was, like, it's going to just make their relationship weird and it's going to like, give insight. The reason why it changes things for me is it just gives me more insight as to why the two of them fell apart, you know? And so
yeah, I get that. I guess I would argue that I don't think it made things weird because I think that it was just like normal for being friends with Julia. I think it was normal in that friendship for them to be very sexual with each other. I don't see like how them kissing and doing all the stuff that they were doing on camera, how patting someone's puss is really that much different. I mean, unless she's saying they were having like a full-on affair or something behind Martina's back, which isn't what she's saying. She's saying they were like lightly fooled around one night, because even Julia can't answer the questions later. I mean, it sounds like they just basically had a light fooling around night wasted that we saw even on camera. We saw them waking up
Even if
together.
it's just that, though, even if it's just that, if it's something that she didn't feel comfortable telling Martina for 2 years, that's gonna, in my mind, that's gonna cause some shit. Like I think
you're right, except that it was all on camera. Most of this stuff was on camera. Like Martina would have been so completely uncomfortable just seeing the way they were kissing and doing all that stuff on TV, on national TV.
But you know what though? I
don't think it's like a huge step that they like actually
I don't think this
had
was
a pat
TV.
the puss moment.
I don't know if this was honestly, okay, I will say this. My takeaway from all the back and forth and sort of the dodges and whatever, I kind of got the impression that they ate each other out.